Stay tuned until the end of the episode. I will give you paces for how long it takes to go through each row, so that way you can model out how you're going to attack this workout and strategize.
Ding, ding, throw down!
On this week's Throwdown, we have Kangaroo Kyle demo the workout.
What about...
Oh, do we say that too?
What?
On this week's Throwdown, we have Kangaroo Kyle and Penguin Perrin demo the workout.
Are they always kangaroo and penguins?
I don't know. What did we call them last time they did it? On this week's Throwdown, we have Kangaroo Kyle and Penguin Perrin demo... Penguin Perrin.
Remember?
What do we got?
We've got rowing and chest to bar pull-ups.
We release these workouts right here on YouTube every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Our first training cycle for the 2022 competitive CrossFit season just started. For more information and to join, head to trainingthinktank.com.
This week's Throwdown is a 10-minute EMOM. Every minute has a buy-in of 10 cows on the rower for the men and 8 for the women. And then you're gonna do an AMRAP of chest to bar pull-ups in the remaining time. But if you don't finish your row cows within the minute, then the workout is over.
And you got capped.
Max wrote this workout. It's not an EMOM, it's basically an AMRAP. Just keep that in mind. If you want to sign up on the leaderboard, click down below. You can register there. Also, you'll find a warm-up and movement standards for this workout.
And remember, you almost skipped me. If you do the workout, use that hashtag, and we'll repost you on our social media.
This week's demo athletes are Kyle Habdo and Perrin Bear. They're our new TTT coaches. What about them? Somebody help me.
They're going through their hazing process, so they have to keep demoing these workouts. You're going to see them often over the next couple of weeks.
All right, let's go watch it.
Yep.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, 0.
How many Throwdown demos until their hazing is done?
Yeah, they have to keep doing them for the next year.
They keep volunteering.
Good for them. This is what I did not want to do for sure. This is one of my favorite formats where, one, you got to learn how to pace because you have to balance the row speed versus getting off in time to be able to do chest to bars, but then also you that are watching at home, keep in mind you have to get back to the row before the top of the minute. So coming up with a game plan before you start makes a lot of sense for how fast you want to approach the row.
Yeah, so Kyle there, who we're focusing on. We have Perrin in the background just for female reference, but he was at like a little bit over 1,300 cals per hour, and he finished in like 25 seconds. Jumped off, kind of pace transition, and then jumped up and did a small set. Perrin in the background did her chest to bars and then just got back on the rower waiting for the next round. So.
Yeah, two different styles. You can see both of them are trying to be a little conservative with their chest to bars to start, but Kyle did a short set. Wow.
That's so distracting.
Yeah, moving all over the place. Kyle did a couple small sets. He told me before we just started filming this, I asked him like what his thought was. He's like, I figured I could keep small sets for all 10 minutes, but then you'll see that that kind of goes away. So he would recommend that you do a couple bigger sets in the first few minutes because no matter what, the row is actually fatiguing the pulling muscles that you're using for the chest to bar.
Yeah, this is probably a hard workout to take a linear pace on, at least with the chest to bar. You may be able to sustain your row, but I personally would try to bank reps at the beginning.
Yeah.
So go bigger in your
without
first set.
blowing up.
Yeah, because just the biceps that you get from pulling on the rower does definitely tax your pulling muscles for chest to bars. It's not necessarily the kip swing, but just the full range of motion getting the chest all the way to the bar. I feel like if your
And
biceps...
just the accumulation of chest to bar reps
sure.
as well. There's going
Yeah.
to be deterioration there.
So
Do you think they're getting off the bar too quickly?
it really depends on your pacing structure. So for me, Mia, kind of similar to what you said, I would try to bank some reps in the chest bar. So I actually would go closer to like 55 to 57 seconds and do as many as I can in the first 3 or 4 minutes because I know no matter what, my chest bars will deteriorate. I can keep the same row pace throughout though, so I know that I can get off, let's say, in 28 seconds or 30 seconds. So I would just try to be a little bit more aggressive with the chest bars to begin, hurry up and get back on the rower. The one thing though that I will say, you want to be on the rower for the start of the next minute. You can waste so much time not being on.
Yeah, so Kyle started a little bit over 1,400 cals an hour in interval 1, and now he was just a little over 1,200. So it's definitely, even just in 3 intervals, it's already starting to fall off. And if you waste 5 seconds not getting on the rower in the beginning, I feel like that is just going to eat away all of your time to do chest to bars as you go through the workout. So I agree with Brandon that the transition to the rower is super important, and I wouldn't push it to 57. I would probably be getting off the bar at like 53 or 50 every time, kind of like Perrin and Habdo here.
Yeah, you know, one thing to think about with that is like, obviously everyone's gonna have a different style, but practicing getting on and off the rower actually matters in qualifier workouts, especially something like this. But you think about the row wall ball workout or the row double under muscle up workout where you're moving through these rounds as quickly as possible, getting in and out, not having your feet where you have to strap every single time, learning how to get into the rower and then pull right away and get up to your pace. All of those are things that we can practice in workouts like this so that you're ready for a qualifier workout.
Perrin said that her pace was pretty linear on the rower, but her time to get to her pace is what slowed down. So that's something to also focus on, and maybe practice a way to do that with a lot of leg drive for this workout and not so much pulling to get you up to that pace without overtaxing your arms.
Perrin's chest bars are really fast.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed as she was doing that is her arms are a little bent at the pull of every row. I feel like if you can try to keep your form as tight as possible without any arm bend in the pull before you need to, like you see she kind of holds that bent arm position through the whole time, I would guess that that would burn your biceps out a little bit more for chest to bars.
I mean, that's a really good point. Something that, another thing I think that people should be thinking about in their training is, can I have a couple different options for how I vary my row pull and cadence when it comes down to muscle ups, chest to bars, toes to bar, anything where I'm hanging from a bar versus maybe a barbell? If it's more grip limited, how am I going to hold the handle on the rower versus if it's just rowing and squatting? So all of those things are things I try to kind of guide my athletes toward thinking so that they can be more efficient with the movement and the combos that come out.
So here they both jumped up at almost 40 seconds in that interval. So that just gives you some sort of a context that you're losing time to do chest to bars as your chest to bars are deteriorating. So,
not an easy workout.
Yeah, so I mean, like what both of them said in the beginning of this, that you kind of got to bank chest to bars in the beginning. You also could potentially take a strategy where you go 1 minute big and then 1 minute small and pace it where you're doing that way. You just need to be mindful of the fact that you need to finish your row cows in every minute, so that way you don't get capped.
Yeah, this really has become an AMRAP.
Yeah.
It's a 10-minute AMRAP of row cows and chest to bars. It's just the chest to bars change every round.
Yeah, so it allows you to keep moving. It makes it even worse.
I'm going to do one this round. I really like the strategy of alternating minutes. I think for most people that may actually play better off than them trying to go big and then just try to hang on, because no matter what, you're going to hit that wall. So that may be something to try in your warm-ups and just kind of see how it feels.
And you just have to really commit to making that big minute. Like, you're going to have to make it hurt in that minute to make it worth it. If you get soft in that minute, then you're just going to have a terrible score.
Yeah.
Did either of them say anything about grip limitation to either of you?
They both said just like arms and pull. They didn't specifically say grip, but I'm sure that was a part of it as well.
You can start to see now too. So here, Kyle does start maybe on time. I mean, that little half pull was at like 6:02. But you can just see, even in his respiration, demeanor, all that stuff, that he's really fatigued. And in his first interval, he was over 1,400. By his sixth interval, which was the last minute, he was just over 1,000. So what the hell's going on over there? So you know that they're tired doing this. So be prepared for that. It's not just chest to bars. It's also tired training.
Spoiler, CrossFit hurts.
If you are good at this style of workout, though, you're probably pretty good at qualifier workouts. It looks like, oh, it's just an EMOM, and you know, it's like my deload week or whatever. But you have to put a ton of power into the row to get off in time, and obviously to have sustainable sets in the chest bar mean you're really enduring at upper body pulling. So a good combo and a good thing to test.
I think also they're both getting to the rower at very different times each interval. So it seems like it's a little bit reactive here, which when you're the demo, that's going to happen. But like that one, Kyle probably could have jumped up and gotten 1 or 2 more reps and still had 5 to 7 seconds before having to go again. So I think being disciplined there and having good clock awareness and saying, I'm going to stay on the bar till this time, even if that means you're just jumping up for a single, because if you jump up for 1 extra single each round, that's 10 more reps.
Yeah, he must, I mean, so he's back over 1,200 now, so he must have realized that going at 1,000, you just lose too much time. He's getting off around 30, and then in the last round, it was taking about 10 seconds to jump up and do his first chest to bar. So about the same here. So you maybe could cut out some of the transition time, jump up, do a small set, rest, and then do another small set right before the minute. he seems to, oh, he did that here, little break. So, oh, for a single.
So, hey,
yeah, it's one more.
Something
Yeah.
like this, it counts. And he's still, I mean, he probably should have put his feet in a little sooner there, but he was still sitting on the rower in enough time to start pulling at 8.
Yeah, I mean, again, every rep really does count, especially in the open when you have maybe 200,000 people you're going against, and one rep could be, 1,000 spots or 2,000 spots. So I think finishing with a single, like Mia said, makes a lot of sense. Or just being a little bit more aggressive than you want to, especially those like minutes 6 through 9 where you're just like trying to like hang on. But the reality is like every rep there is going to matter at the end.
Yeah, this is where qualifiers are really dictated. I feel like there's a lot of people that can be good for 4, 5, 6 minutes of work, but when it starts to extend into that 10-minute range and it's just a couplet back and forth, it's inevitable that people just start breaking down a little bit. And here, so Kyle's up at 45 seconds. So I think his energy systems and his chest to bars still look pretty good there. So it seems like maybe just the combo and the breathing and just all of it is starting to catch up with him. If he were to redo these are the intervals basically that in your video review you'd be like, hey, this is where you really got to push it.
Yeah, and just to nitpick a little bit on that last round, so he knows, hey, I have to just kind of spill over here. He didn't get his feet in until after the 9-minute mark. So make sure that you get in, you're ready to pull exactly at the 9 minutes. Every second here is going to matter.
Yeah, and now he's back up near where he started. He's a little bit under 1,400, but let's see where he gets off on this actual row. I think it'll be, oh, he lost pace a little bit. So he's still about 32 seconds. Now it's just, this is literally your last one. So sprint it.
And you have a little more time because there's no transition back into the rower.
Yeah.
Still gets up about 40 seconds, so the transition's a little bit longer than probably he would like. There's 2 options here. You either do a couple small sets or you just try to hang on. It really depends on how fatigued you are at the point.
Yeah, you can see Perrin in the background. She's doing like quick doubles or they're single, but she's keeping her transitions pretty quick, whereas Kyle started with a bigger set, but they definitely broke down. And the little head shake afterwards. Why did I do this to myself? All right, let's go to the whiteboard and strategize this out.
How was it?
Challenging. It's just all pulling. By like round 5, I felt like I was toast. So I'm glad I went out conservative. I tested like 3 rounds of it earlier this week, and I knew if I went, like started with like a set of 10 or something, I'd blow up. So I started with 7. I was like 7 and 6s for a while, and then it quickly deteriorated. When would you say it, like 5, 6, round 5 and 6 got real? Yeah.
All right, round 5 to 6. I could just feel the power output on the rower like going down. And I had to break up my sets. I was just like losing my rhythm on the kip. And it was just like becoming so much arms instead of using my hips to manipulate the movement. So yeah, it's fucking hard.
All right, so as you go through this workout, one of the major focuses is how fast do you row to give yourself time to chest bar. So I created this little chart to give you some sort of an illustration. If you rowed at 600 cals per hour pace for a male athlete, that means you'd be finishing just at a minute. Now I put these little plus signs in here because it's not exactly 1-to-1 if you row at this pace, you finish at that time, because there is some time lost in getting in and getting started and getting up to your working pace. So all of these are going to be a little bit longer depending on how long it takes you to get up to that working pace. So you could probably add 2 to 3 seconds to all my paces. So obviously for men, 600 would be too slow to go for anybody. For females, you'd be finishing just over 48 seconds. So with that transitional time, maybe it's 50 or 51. That doesn't really leave you any time to do chest to bars. So I crossed it off, and we're not doing 600 cals per hour here in this workout. For the rest of it, 800 will finish in 45 or 36 seconds. 1,000 will finish in 39 or 31. 1,200 will finish at 30 or 24. 1,400 would finish at 25 or 20, and 1,600 would finish at 22 or 17. I don't think there's any females out there that are rowing at 1,600 cals per hour. If they are, I would like to hear what you're doing for training and how the hell you got so fit. I think also after watching this, Kyle Habdo started just over 1,400. So maybe for elite males, a little bit over 1,600, and just trying to maintain that would be some sort of a good target. But these are going to be very, very, very fast paces. But this just gives you some sort of a model to work off of. Where do you start your row paces, and how much time are you going to have to do your chest to bars? Now, your target for chest to bars also dictates this. If you're not very good at chest to bars and you can only do 2 or 3 unbroken, it might be okay if you're pushing close to the end of the interval, keeping your heart rate relatively low, kind of going smooth on the row, jumping off, doing 2, getting back on, and thinking of it like a 10-minute AMRAP of doing 10 or 8 cals and 2 chest to bars. Now, if you're trying to get a better score, that obviously isn't possible. So you just watched a demo. Perrin got 59, Kyle got 76, so it's an average of just under 6 reps per minute for Perrin and just over 7 reps per minute for Kyle. And you can play with some different strategies. Mia and Brandon talked about descending rep schemes being good, so maybe you go and you plan to go really fast in your first interval and get a big set of chest to bars, and then do that again in your second, and then when you feel your chest to bars start to deteriorate, maybe you start to slow your row pace and just plan on there being some descent from your first set into your last set. I think almost everybody's going to break down in this format because it's a lot of chest to bars and it's paired with more pulling. So it's probably going to be descending reps for everybody. If you can maintain your reps across, you probably picked a conservative strategy for yourself, and that's not necessarily bad. It just might mean you left a little bit in the tank. You also could do what I talked about, meaning alternate minutes. So maybe 1 minute you start out and you go really fast on your row and get as many chest to bars as you can, and then on the next minute you throttle back your row pace, finish a little bit slower, get a couple of reps in the chest to bar, and go back and forth that way. But like Mia talked, with that strategy, you have got to be disciplined with your big sets if you're going to do that. Because if you end up going big set, small set, big set, small set, and then your big set turns into a small set, it's small set, small set, small set, and you're just not going to be able to accumulate a lot of reps. Some targets as you go through this workout, I'd say intermediates would be somewhere between 1 to 5 per minute average, so a score of anywhere from 10 to 50. An RX score would probably be what you watched in this demo video, somewhere between 50 and 100 reps, averaging 5 to 10 a minute. And then elite scores, I think if you can average over 10 a minute, meaning you're getting over 100, that's probably a good target. I think games level performances would probably be over 15 a minute, so maybe breaking the chest to bars into like 8-7 and trying to get 150 would be some sort of a target. And there's probably some freaks out there that excuse me, might be able to get into 200s. That's all I got for strategy. Good luck on this one. I will see you next week.
Because if you end up going big set, small set, big set, small set, and then your big set turns into a small set, it's small set, small set, small set.
It's a wrap, you know what I'm saying? Your boy Project Pata in this thing, man. Hey, look, man, thank y'all for watching Training Think Tanks YouTube channel. Y'all hit that motherfucking subscribe button, you know what I'm saying? So y'all go ahead, man. Thank y'all for watching the channel, you know what I'm saying? Hit that motherfucking subscribe button, let it be known what it be known, what it be known, you know what I'm saying? Pata.